and he just drew the rest of his games. I mean, as you say, it's something. Why? I mean, here you might as well play for a win because your opponent might flag you if you play for a draw. So maybe in Titled Tuesday, more likely they will. But there has been a trend towards a bit of safety recently.
Yeah. But also I feel like in Titled Tuesday, with almost 400 participants, you very often need at least 9.5 points to win. And the fact that Magnus has already kind of sacrificed one of the few points you are allowed to, it's going to require a lot from him as well to win a lot of these next games. And let's see if Hikaru can seize the opportunity. He hasn't won a tournament in Titled Tuesday in many, many weeks. None in Split 2. And he needs those points.
Yeah, and Hikaru playing quite provocatively in the opening, going for the modern defense, but it was quite a successful one with the two bishops being ketoed, especially pressure on this e4 pawn. The knight is potentially getting kicked away as well. I'm not too impressed by Bharath's opening here. Feels like there are better ways to play against what Hikaru did in the first few moves. The white bishop's now moved for a second time. Maybe it was just a bit misplaced.
Do you think Hikaru judges who he plays these aggressive openings against, or do you think he'll just do it against anyone at these early stages?
Ooh, good question. I think he's happy against most players. If it's someone he maybe has history against or does fear a bit, he might stick to more conventional stuff. Later in the tournament, against Magnus, he tends to play his A-list openings.
Do you think he's more or less likely to play something like here, this modern with the two bishops, against one of the young kids or against one of the more established players?
Oh, good question. Because Magnus would be inclined to play this type of thing against the younger ones, right? But Hikaru, he has been doing this for many years. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I feel like I'm just trying to read Hikaru's expression.
We've been trying to do that for years. I've given up on it.
Because he's playing against an 18-year-old grandmaster from India here, and I feel like me in particular, I always associate these very young Indian players as like very underrated. That might be from like more like classical tournament play, but I feel like that's the kind of opponent that these older guys, they don't want to play against these young Indian kids. And it seems like Hikaru's taking it very seriously. He's playing fast and he's playing well from what I can see and from what the evaluation bar says.
Yeah, but the trend is in White's favor, I would say now, because Hikaru, he pushed his pawn up in the center, which has blocked one of his fianchettoed bishops. And now White is trying to get a trade of the other bishop on the opposite flank by going kind of maneuvering into the center and making that trade. So Hikaru now kind of goes very aggressive.
Mm-hmm. It feels a bit all in, but maybe it's just positionally justified. It does resemble some branches of the Sicilian, this pawn structure. And I think probably a good practical idea from Bharath not to open up the center, although there might have been some action against the Black King just that one moment. I think this move will have frustrated Hikaru.
Yeah, because now Hikaru has to make a decision. Does he continue forward, which is kind of what he intended with the previous move and is what he ends up doing. But the problem now is that he's got all those three pawns on the dark squares. And if the bishop then tries to reroute, these pawns are going to be in the way. So there's this classic Sveshnikov plan of getting the bishop over on the queen side, pointed at White's king. I think that's going to be Hikaru's priority now.
Yeah, that's a quite long-term plan.
Wow.
But it looks like a very effective one, and that might come with some mating ideas, especially if the White king is caught in the corner. He will prepare it, though. The one thing to avoid will be allowing any white pawn breaks. Maybe the worst piece on the board is now the white bishop. Also blocked in by lots of pawns, the knight.
Well, now the knight is not good. Yeah. I don't know why you would voluntarily move the knight to a place where the only available square is where it came from.
Yeah. But I also feel like the advantage that Hikaru has right now is that he has this kind of long-term plan that you were showing with his arrows, David, and then he can play a lot of moves quite quickly. I feel like having a plan when there isn't any increment is such a huge advantage. And he's going for a completely other plan on the other side of the board right now.
He's at least hinting that it might happen. He might not know whether it's good or not. He is calculating, though.
Let's hear what he says.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that. Very happy, actually. The only thing is, how do I do this? I don't want to go rook c5. I don't want to go a4.
Okay, so Hikaru, he is calculating, but he did give the opportunity to give away his bishop, but it's remained on the board. It's now on that amazing diagonal. It really came in from the weird...
Yeah, no, such an unexpected way. I kind of hit the plan that was available to him, but he just executed it in a much better way than what I was saying, because he managed to provoke the white pawn in front of the white king to push one step forward, and now that pawn can be attacked. Hikaru is preparing it now with his bishop one step back, taking over the rook's the square the rook just vacated. And yeah, there's a devastating attack going on against the white king.
Yeah, it's coming. The white knight improves itself. Hikaru, if he can just line up the bishop, maybe add a rook to the attack as well. Oh, he just wants a pawn. Why not? And still positionally in control, now materially up as well.
And Hikaru, he seems to be in good shape today from what we've seen so far. So it's going to be interesting to see if he can keep his 1-point lead over his nemesis, Magnus, who started off in a bad way.
If maybe a bit slow. Because it's not normal to see Hikaru behind on the clock, right? And now, I mean, he has the time advantage here, but it's just barely, despite the fact that his position is quite superior, which also often is a sign that you can play faster.
Yeah. And Hikaru at his best is always up on time, always kind of asking questions, always very dynamic. And okay, here he's the exchange up. Bharath decided that black bishop was too strong. I think he was right in at least trying this. But how can Hikaru double
Maybe
down?
Hikaru can start sacrificing already.
Or he can try to go into an endgame.
With an extra rook, which does seem like a very sound decision. Now that I'm made aware of that move's existence.
Yeah. And Hikaru, he will be playing in the Speed Chess Championship semifinals and maybe finals coming up in a couple of weeks. So he's always a contender there because of his quick moves, and it's a good way to warm up a little bit towards that. And now there is a queen trade. We're seeing an endgame, but Hikaru threatening a pawn, has a rook in exchange for a knight. Everything's looking promising right now.
Very promising. He has fantastic technique, of course, as well, Hikaru. Probably the Speed Chess Championship is going to be the easiest way towards the Esports World Cup for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he has been a bit up and down on Titled Tuesdays, just a couple of wins here and there in the autumn split. Still some hard work to be done here, though. Maybe he could have gone for checkmate. And
yeah, look at his face right now.
He really wants the rooks off. Not so easy, though. With the rooks off, it's a guaranteed win. Like, no real chance for Bharath to fight back, especially with no time on the clock. But while the white rook is alive, oh, this is the clincher, maybe. If the rook trade is avoided here, the black rooks come in.
Great play by Hikaru to force either the rook trade or the rooks coordinating together against the white king.
Yeah. And that white king does look quite hopeless. There's going to be back rank checkmate ideas. Just have to keep the black king safe. There was a discovery threatened against the black king. Now Hikaru will give a few checks, nudge the king away, and run. Checkmate is coming on one of these two squares. He can dodge the checks easily. Hikaru is up on time, and there we see it. He takes the win. 3 out of 3.
Alongside Fabiano Caruana, who's also headed for